What's going on, everybody? Eric Bourassa here, and I don't want to move the camera, so I'm going to teach like this. Be sure and like and subscribe. We're about to hit that 300 subscriber mark, and I can't wait to celebrate that with you, and then we'll be on our way to 1 million subscribers. Okay, so here we go. What Eric Johnson is doing in this lesson is focusing on adding in open strings, and he demonstrates first by just playing some basic A minor pentatonic licks. So this all comes from box 5 and box 1 of A minor pentatonic. So if you know box 1, no problem. And then you just add this little extension down here. That's like my favorite. So anytime you're on string 5 in box 1, you can slide down 2 frets and play this little 4-note box down here. And then he goes in our next measure to this, which is a cool little different way of ignoring the 8s on strings 1 and 2. But because the focus is on open strings, I would think that he would do this A, instead of rolling A to E across 2 strings, he would just do A, pull off to E on the first string. So even though that's not tabbed out, you might try that. That might be a little bit easier there. And then he plays this idea. This is a great little B.B. King thing. Playing an A in 2 different spots on 2 different strings. But I also tried doing it like this. I kind of accidentally, it almost sounds like that when he plays it, but it doesn't look like that when he plays it. So just skip straight from the 5 on the second string to 8 and 7 on the first string. That's kind of a cool idea there. Okay, at 49 seconds into the video, he starts replacing this D with an open D, which allows him to jump his first finger into this box here. So he's using box 2 of A minor pentatonic. Oh. So if you ignore string 6, which would be 8 and 10, then you would just start on the 5th of A and go 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10. So that's a cool, and it looks like his favorite shape here is to actually ignore the 7 on string 3. That's actually really cool. And I'll sweep that. The way I find it's easier to play, he does some legato, but he can also alternate pick like crazy, and a little bit of economy picking, I think, too. But I like to, starting from that 4th string, hammer, and then sweep. So that's a cool idea. And then Eric Johnson does this idea a lot, where he plays a low note, a high note, and then the middle note within 2 pentatonic boxes. Right, so this is just our root, our 9th, our 3rd, our 4th, and our 5th. And you'll notice he's using minor pentatonic a lot and then just adding in that 9th. Right, so here's root, 3, 4, 5. Great to play with, and then he also just adds in that 9. Then he gets into some open strings here at 53 seconds. That's a cool little descending A minor pentatonic pattern. Instead of starting with this E on the 2nd string 5th fret, and then also I don't know why he does this fretted G when he could do open G instead, if that's the theme of the lesson, right? So we could do something like, so we could do the open G instead. Okay, it's a little weirder on the fingers. And then Eric Johnson is doing a typical, he likes to combine patterns of 3, 4s, 5s, and 6s in what seems to be very random order. So here he has a descending group of 5, and then a group of 6. So that's a great thing to do just when you're descending or ascending through a pentatonic scale. Don't just go up in groups of 2 or groups of 3. Try going up in groups of 5s and 6s as well. Okay, then at 108, once again, we're replacing D. Instead of that D, open D, and then that box 2 of A minor pentatonic again. And then he shifts into box 3. There. So if there's a theme with this lesson, I would say focus on learning all of your pentatonic boxes up and down the fretboard, as well as knowing the names of the notes. If you do those 2 things for A minor pentatonic, this lesson is going to be pretty easy for you. But if you don't know the names of the notes on your fretboard and you don't know the boxes of A minor pentatonic, that makes it tough. So again, just to review, we've got box 1 of A minor pentatonic, but starting down here in box 5. Make sure you know that. And then box 2, starting on the 5th of A. Make sure you know that. And then in box 3, he doesn't play all of it. He just plays the first 3 strings. So you want to make sure you know that. And then, when he adds his F sharp up here, this is our Dorian note, our raised 6. So mostly A minor pentatonic with 9ths. But here, he adds in that raised 6 for that Dorian sound. And then we get this cool kind of classical descending pattern. But he does a weird finger shift, pinky, to set him up for this A here. You don't have to do it that way, but that's how he does it. And then at 113, we've got 3 open strings in a row. That's a cool thing. There's that Dorian note again, that F sharp. And then everything else after that in that 113 section is just straight A minor pentatonic. Okay, at 117, he does this D arpeggio. So this is like taking a D chord, a D major arpeggio, D, F sharp, and A, but it's a drop 2 chord, meaning we take this F sharp and move it up an octave. So instead of going D, F sharp, A, we're going D, A, F sharp. And he plays it with this weird fingering. He goes 1, 3, then 2, and that sets him up for the next phrase to come. This like Back to the Future sounding thing. I love this run here that he does, because he uses B in 2 different places. And you'll notice Eric Johnson, just for different shapes, uses, he'll use the same note on different strings to create different effects and different patterns. So I would sweep this, just go up, 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 and then down, up, up, down, down. Economy picking, I think, makes the most sense there, especially when you're changing strings super fast. If I'm playing 3 notes at a string, on a string, or 6 notes, then I'm typically going to pick all of those, just straight alternate picking. But when you have to change strings very quickly, try using economy picking. Okay, and then at 119, he does this once again, G, F, but we're bending the F, which is not in the key, up to that Dorian raised 6 once again. And then just walking up the scale, stopping on the Dorian note again, and then walking down an A Dorian scale. And then we shift with the open string. Similar pattern that what we've seen before. Okay, at 127, he slows things down. So this isn't too hard. He starts the same way that he's been doing, shifts into that box 2. And then there it is again, that Dorian note. And then he uses an open string to transition. At 134, oh, sorry. There's that F sharp Dorian note again. I hope you're noticing a theme. Adding in an F sharp to an A minor pentatonic run. And then at 139, he actually does E minor pentatonic box 5. Why he decided to change to that there, I don't know, but he did. Then he does this awesome bend with vibrato. Don't forget, bend, then do your vibrato. Okay, and then at 142, pretty straightforward. We get this cool C add 9 pattern, and then he just walks up in A Dorian scale. Very important here, he's doing sideways vibrato. Notice how different that is than up and down vibrato. Up and down vibrato actually pulls the string up in pitch no matter which way you pull, and side to side vibrato, no matter which way you pull, pulls the pitch down. So a very different effect. The side to side is more of a classical effect. I will see guys use this a lot, and it doesn't sound like anything. So if you do the side to side vibrato, make sure you're really getting a strong pulling motion there. Most of the time when I see people do it, it sounds like this. It just sounds like nothing. So don't do it just because you see people do it. Make sure you're actually getting the effect of what is happening there. Okay, and wrapping this up at 151, once again, replacing D with open D, replacing B with open B, and then my favorite lick at 154, staying in box 2, and then finishing with an A minor triad. At 203, we get this pretty standard pentatonic lick, which is really cool. And then at 205, he plays it again differently by combining strings. He doesn't play the notes exactly verbatim as he did in the previous measure. Let's see if we can duplicate that. Let's see. That's how it would go. That's what it would look like. So that's another great thing to test out, is just trying to find the same notes on different strings and seeing what different patterns you can come up with. Can you replace those notes with open strings? Can you play them in different places on the fretboard, and how does that benefit you as a player? And instead of us trying to sound exactly like Eric Johnson, how do we use that general concept to be more like ourselves? So if Eric Johnson's playing a certain way and it doesn't work for us, well great, we don't have to play it the way he did, even though he's infinitely better than all of us. We can find that note on a different string. So that's it. If you guys need more help, go check out in the link below unlimitedguitar.com, my guitar membership site with lots of courses for you guys. Hope you'll have a great day. And as my great aunt Bernarda always says, eat donuts until the stuff don't stink. Bye.